After you give birth, a lot of women are given a 6 weeks benchmark, After 6 weeks, you will be ready to have sex. The truth is that you could physically heal in 6 weeks. Maybe not. But would you be ready to have sex in 6 weeks? My name is Morayo, and it is wonderful to have you here, as always. Thank you so much for your feedback and your love, your support in the past few episodes that we've had. Thank you for loving. I can't even say it's liking. You guys, you've loved it. For loving, for commenting, for sharing, and for subscribing. I am immensely grateful. Please do not stop here. Do not stop supporting us on this channel, because as I said before, this is our channel, right? And this channel is beneficial to a lot of people. Trust me, it is. And you're a part of that progress and success story. Now, today we're going to be talking about something very, very interesting. Hopefully, I can piece my thoughts together in a way that will make it more interesting for you guys, right? I don't know what other word to use. If you are a child, if you are below 18, this video is not for you. Oh yeah, skip. Move along. If you're going to have childish thoughts, or if you're going to be mature about some of the things I'm going to say here, if you feel I'm going to rub you off wrongly, because I probably will be rubbing some people off wrongly, then I crave your forgiveness and indulgence in advance. But sorry, not sorry, okay? Yeah. Moving on. It's a beautiful thing to have children. It's a wonderful thing. It's a blessing to have children. But one of the consequences of having children, especially for women, is a low sexual activity or life. Especially for women. For men, some of you have a way of going around and about it. But for true Christian men, you also suffer that. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about postnatal libido. It's actually a thing, and as many other things, your doctor or your care provider may not talk about it in details with you. In fact, what they would do is to give you a 6 weeks, some people 4 weeks, a 6 weeks benchmark, of healing and stability. Meanwhile, that is far. If there's anything farther from the truth, it is far from the truth. You could physically heal to an extent in 6 weeks, but would you be ready to have sex in 6 weeks? Question for the house. A lot of men will say yes, but a lot of women will actually say no. For lots of women, they actually want to give a punch to the doctor that said that to their husbands, because they are far from ready after 6 weeks. And there are many reasons why. Your care provider or your doctor will not tell you everything, because they've done enough and they are still doing plenty, and you're not the only person that they are going to be seeing or talking to. So somehow they expect you to figure it out like other people do. But guess what? I'm here to help you in talking about it and also figuring it out. This topic that we're speaking about today, today's episode is more of an awareness. There are more than one reason, or there are several reasons why a woman will have a low sexual libido, after delivery. Number one, for obvious reasons, is the fact that she's still healing. As we said, she's still healing emotionally, she's still healing physically, she's still healing mentally, she's still healing. Her body is still healing. She's not yet fully recovered. Irrespective of what is said by the doctor, I am telling you that a woman is still healing after 6 weeks. Most women are still healing after 6 weeks. And yeah, they are not just exactly ready to have sex. Number two is hormones. Our hormones are not yet ready. It is very unlikely that some women have, but it's very unlikely that a woman will get pregnant in the first few weeks post-delivery, the first 6 weeks post-delivering a child. The reason is because the hormones that are responsible for sexual urges, sexual drives, and things like that. Those hormones are also responsible for getting pregnant. The reason why, those hormones are even present, the ovulation hormones, are so that you can be horny enough to get a man to get you pregnant. But those hormones are said to crash to a menopausal level. Yeah, the way things are dry in menopause. Yeah, that's what happens to a woman immediately after she delivers. The progesterone, the estrogen, all those things crash, and they give way to hormones that will benefit the child. So your body is now servant for your child. Before you were servant to yourself and maybe to your husband, but now you're mostly solely servant to your child. And our babies take it all. They are ready to take it all. Most babies are ready to take it all, right? So prolactin, the hormone that is for breastfeeding, is now activated, and oxytocin is also elevated, and things like that help in bonding with the child. The third thing that is responsible for low sexual libido in women postnatal or postpartum is contraceptives. Isn't that interesting? I'm currently on contraceptives. Yes, I don't waste time. Because if you don't plan well, then you're planning to fail. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail, right? So we don't take chances. You want to have this certain amount of children, then you better be preventing it. Either you're doing condoms or you're doing other preventive methods. We've talked about contraceptives before. In fact, we had a Dr. Daria, grace us on this channel and talk about that. Now, contraceptives, there are some contraceptives that also help in the decline of a woman's sexual drive and desire, right? It's just like that. And it's funny that when it comes to men's libido, there's a lot of research and there's a lot of solutions that have been given for men. There are drugs, there are formulations, surgeries, etc. But when it comes to women's libido, there are very few things. And the excuse is that women have a very complicated reproductive system, right? But this women's complicated reproductive system is not complicated enough for contraceptives, right? And the simple male reproductive system is complicated enough for contraceptives, when in actual sense, who needs contraceptives more if you think about it? A woman can only get pregnant once, or can only have a child, let me not use the word pregnant, can only have a child once in 10 months, or on an average, maybe 9 months, 36 weeks. But it's usually 40 weeks, right? So a woman can only birth a child once in 10 months. And before she heals and takes in again, it takes a while. But within that period of time, a very active male and different fertile woman, if you couple him with different fertile women, he can have at least a child a week, every single week of those 10 months. At least one. At least. So who should you be trying to, prevent from having children? Anyways, that is for the medical society to think about. I am not in that field. But there are just so many things that makes you realize that truly, it's like that curse that God gave women at the beginning is very, very strong. It's active. There are just times when I sit back and I'm like, I feel like a slave. I feel like a slave to my children and to my husband. Like when the day is all used up and done, and I still think of the fact that, okay, I'm already touched out today by my 2 children. And then, sorry to my hubby and to anybody that might feel offended, but as I said, this is honest chit-chat that I'm having with you guys. And a lot of women feel like this, so I'm not even ashamed if I'm the spokesperson for us, if I'm the one that is the mouthpiece. And then I just feel like, okay, so now I have to satisfy my husband again. And of course, you are expected to. You're expected to from yourself. You yourself, you want to. and then your husband expects it. A good husband may not voice it out, etc., but to an extent, he wants it. They want it because that's what they think about most of the time. That's what research or science is, that men think about sex a lot in the course of the day. So, and then you are on this other end where by justification and by rights, you shouldn't be even thinking about that. Your body is not ready for that. You are not ready for that. Contraceptives are not helping. The hormones are not helping. Your body is not helping. And guess what? Even the workload is not helping. The workload is not helping because, especially if you don't have help around, you are doing a lot of things by yourself. You are tired, exhausted by the end of the day. So how do you solve postnatal libido? How do you go about postnatal libido as a spouse or our spouses together? Recently, there was a story about a celebrity that impregnated 2 women alongside his wife, his main person. I think he's married to her. And 2 friends and I were having a conversation, and the guy in our midst said that, let him play devil's advocate. You know how women can be. Maybe she wasn't giving him sex, maybe this, maybe that. And then my other friend and I told him that, do you realize that she's pregnant? You know, this is not news that the wife broke to us. This is news that one of the other women broke to the world. Do you realize what a pregnant woman goes through? You know, if she's having extreme symptoms, we don't know. So the woman will have those pregnancy symptoms. Now I'm moving along from that gist. After having those extreme pregnancy symptoms, she would deliver the child. Delivery is also a miracle. If hopefully it goes well, after that she bleeds for 2 weeks, hopefully the placenta is properly removed. If not, she will bleed for more. And it can even be fatal for some people. Then she's breastfeeding the child. Then there's grooming. So there's a lot of task that is placed on the woman, which is why I said sometimes I sit back and I think that God, that cost was really serious that you cost the woman. The desire shall be for her husband. But guess what? God is merciful and God is kind. And we have been redeemed from the curse of the law. Christians in the house, say hallelujah. God is merciful and God is kind, right? And the first thing that I will say, as I usually say, you know, one of the solutions is to offer yourself grace, offer yourself mercy, offer your spouse grace, offer your spouse mercy. Receive and give grace. Be deliberate about receiving and giving grace. Receive grace for yourself first. Now, it's nice that you're understanding of your husband, right? But you guys also have to, especially for the women, do not prioritize your husband's pleasure over any discomfort you're feeling. It's all well and good if you are not necessarily enjoying the sex. Even that, there's a problem with that, but there's a lot of sacrifice that is made in marriage. Marriage is never ever, I don't know why I'm advising this, or I don't know if I'm the person to be advising this, but this is my own opinion. You can have yours. There are many times when in marriage, a woman doesn't necessarily enjoy penetrative sex. You can go and do your research. So for the sake of helping this person that you're married, because you've chosen to marry them, even giving birth, you've chosen to do it. So there's an obligation. As far as it's not discomforting you, once in a while, try to plan to have sex with this person. Give grace. But give yourself grace first. If you're not ready for it, then don't do it. If you feel some discomfort, pain when you're having sex, then stop. And your partner should also give you grace. Men, please give grace. Be understanding. Help out in the house a lot. Buy things for your wife. Shower her with love. Give grace. The next thing is receive and give understanding. It's just like the first one, but it's a little level higher. Receive understanding. Proverbs 24 verse 3 to 4 is a scripture in the Bible that says, by wisdom a house is built. Through understanding a home is established. And by knowledge its rooms are filled with beautiful treasures, riches, uncommon experiences, memories. Right? The Bible is a wonderful place. So the same Bible that said, God cursed us and then we're redeemed by the curse of the law is also giving us a solution that by wisdom a house is built. Through understanding that home is established. There are many things that are going to rock your boat, but if you have understanding, and understanding is not just understanding yourselves. Understanding also means getting relevant understanding, maybe getting counseling, therapy, understanding of other people, understanding of how things generally work. You can consult your medical doctor. As I said, they know about these things. They may not just have the time to tell you because they are telling other people other things too. They are attending to the basics. Then if you now have problems that you can't figure out yourself, then they will help you. So you can get understanding. You can talk to your medical practitioner, your caregiver, your care provider. If you don't think so, then you can also talk to a Christian therapist. I watched this, there was one interview by Storyteller Media, the one that Pastor Toyin Oyemade does. And there were these two young couples. I think their series was Getting Married Young. And the girl talked about how she didn't understand herself after she gave birth. She had very seriously low postnatal libido. And it was going on for a while. And then she knew she needed to get help. And at that point, I think she prayed. And then God sent help in form of Debola Deji Kurumi's sex therapy series. And it revived her sexual life, revived her marriage, revived everything. Because they were giving tasks every day. Sexual tasks every day to do. At the point, her husband even got tired. This was one that at the beginning was like, you've lost it though, And it doesn't help when you're giving that 6 weeks benchmark. For her, she was giving a 4 weeks benchmark. And the guy was just like, you've healed in 4 weeks now. Why, it was almost like you're being wicked to me. Which is why I'm saying that this video is an awareness. Some people genuinely do not know that your wife is not ready to have sex. Not because of she's trying to be wicked, so it's not any fault of ours. It's just how things are. She can't help it. I just hope that this helps somebody, right? So try to get a good counseling, a good spiritual therapist, Christian sex therapist. Online, on Instagram, I know there's this BC Olashoeton. I think that's her name, not sure. You guys can correct me in the comments, but I know that her IG is The Secret Place Wife. Then Debola Deji Kurumi, if she has the time, you can message her. Maybe she still has the sex therapy series and she can still send to you as well. And there are other people like that. There are not many. That's another thing. We don't have many Christian sex therapists. There was one lady I used to follow one time when I was on Instagram. I've forgotten her name. She was married to an actor or something like that. But she was also a sex therapist. If you guys know them, please put them in the comments. People need these things. People actually need it. Yes, it's an innate nature to have sex, etc. But there are also things to learn and to know about. We don't know everything under the sun. And the fact that your wife is having a low sexual libido at a point in time doesn't give you license to cheat on her. Whether you be Christian or not, that's not license enough. Right? So get understanding. receive understanding. Aside from giving understanding to one another, receive understanding. The next thing is lubrication, and this is where the caption in the photo comes from. You know, I burnt for you, but not anymore. Before your wife got pregnant, and even maybe during pregnancy, if you touch your wife small like this in some key places, she'll just be wet anyhow. She'll just pour anyhow. But now she's as dry as air. As dry. Even paper is more lubricated than her. Right? But remember, we said that the hormones that are responsible for these things, they have crashed to menopausal level. There's nothing that will help that wetness come again. So men, I don't know why a lot of men have ego. They want to, first of all, they want to do it all natural. All natural. They don't want to use lubrication. You want your wife to be wet for you. So you prefer your wife to use all sorts of nonsense things. She should take kayamata. Even the women, use your brain. Rather than use, medicated lubrication. Rather than your husband should apply that on his penis. Right? KY jelly, etc. You would rather go and be swallowing kayamata, go and be steaming your vagina, etc. All sorts of nonsense. Let me just tell you, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. Why have we decided? Why do a lot of women prioritize their discomfort, their partner's comfort and pleasure over their own discomfort and pain? Why do you prioritize? Why do you do that? I know God caused us, but did you cause yourself? Are you that? Don't cause. Let me not use the word cause, but sometimes I just feel like, is it a cause? Why? Because you've attached so much of your self-worth to a man. Conversation for another day. I didn't want to put that into it. But some of the reasons why women also experience a low sexual drive, low sexual libido, body image issues after having children, and then you've attached so much of your self-worth to a man that once you want to satisfy him so much that you can't satisfy him, and then you keep being dissatisfied. The cycle has to stop. Before I ramble on and on and on, we are preferring solutions, right? So please, kayamata and all those things are not the solution. You can use simple lubrication until you get back in the groove. If it's so bad, if it's so dry after a few months, then why don't you consult a doctor, a proper medical practitioner? Right? Consult a doctor. Because as I said, contraceptives can add to it. For one, I know that injectables, which is what I'm using, they make you dry down there. Using lubrication doesn't make, all these things are in the mind, doesn't make sex less enjoyable. The fourth thing I would advise is that you guys should be open to trying new things, especially guys. Let your wife try out a toy. Women do not enjoy penetrative sex as much as men do, but there are other forms of sex that are pleasurable to a woman. You guys should do your own research. I can't say everything here. You can buy toys. Why are we not open to toys in Nigeria? Meanwhile, people are doing it in secret. You'll be lying to yourselves. Because you feel like toys is masturbation. Masturbation is against Christian values, etc. Well, let's not go into all those things. There are just so many things to unpack when it comes to this sexual libido. But I hope that, with these few points of mine, you've received some understanding. I think for me, the final thing to say would be always try to get help within your environment. Get help with the tasks during the day. Get help with carrying the baby. Both husband and wife, try to get help. You can hire help. If you can, even people around you, ask them to help you. Because they may not know of the hidden tasks that you want to do in the night. They may not know of the hidden tasks that both of you want to do. So the tasks that they can see during the day of the carrying the child, the feeding the child, let them be helping with that one. Because they cannot help you to do the one at night. But some men are useless. They will go and be sleeping with the maid too in the night. But that's discussion. That's not our portion on this channel. That's not for the children of God on this channel. Okay, guys, I think I've spoken enough. I think I've said enough things. As I said, it's just banter, it's just chats, but yeah, it's serious chats. What are your thoughts on postnatal libido, and what would you advise someone to do based on your experience? We don't mind having, if you can discuss this with a more matured couple and they give us an advice, just put your comments in the comments below so that other people can read. Just share. And if you're a young couple, this is awareness for you. I usually tell young couples, I don't even know what made me do it. I guess someone must have told me as well, so that before you have children, especially if you were a Christian, you were celibate, you were a virgin, try to wait a year or two. Also try to marry early so that time will not be against you. Try to wait a bit before you start having children so that you can enjoy sex and enjoy yourselves, because once the babies come, things change. Anyways, thank you guys for being with me today. Thank you for your time. Thank you. Remember to like, to share, to subscribe. Remember to comment. I look forward to all of it, and I'll see you next week. Much love. Mwah.